Da-na-na-na. Kristen here, and today we are talking about Wednesday Season 1, the brand new Netflix series. This is a spoiler-free review, so no worries. This is a coming-of-age supernatural mystery focused on Wednesday Addams and her years as a high school student at Nevermore Academy, where she attempts to master her psychic powers, stop a monstrous killing spree on the town citizens, and solve a supernatural mystery that affected her family 25 years ago. I gotta start out by saying Jenna Ortega, my goodness, is literally one of the best actresses of our generation. She's so good in everything, but she really shines in Wednesday. This is one of her first times genuinely leading, she is the title role of a project. I had talked to her last year for the movie The Fallout, and that was our first time actually leading a movie. So to see her now being able to be front and center of her own TV show is just so exciting.
I've been acting for 9-ish years now. So I think in the years that I've been acting, I've seen a lot of change in the industry and the slow adjustment to being more diverse and accepting more diversity, and I guess just having more people of color on screen. It's very rare that people of color are actually the leads. Like, I know even a lot of the films that I've done in the past year or years have been a lot of supporting roles. So this is also my first time ever leading a film, because another thing about our industry is people don't often change until somebody else takes a chance on you. And once that chance is made, and once somebody sees something in you and pushes you to be the best you possibly can be, I think that's when people kind of start to take notice and kind of start moving forward. So I think that this was a really, really incredible experience for me, but then also just, again, for young women of color who are growing up watching people on screens, it's important that we find these storylines relatable and truthful. And for me, I know film should always focus on being a reflection of the real world. And our world is so much more colorful than Hollywood has made it out to be. So it's really, really nice to see that change happen.
Everything she's in, she just really, you can tell, brings her full commitment, and I think she definitely does that in this show. Seeing Wednesday at Nevermore Academy, this is a brand new original story. We've never seen Wednesday like this before. We've always seen her as a little kid. Here she is, a teenager. Wednesday is a character that people have grown up with for years. We've seen many people kind of take on the mantle. And of course, one of the most iconic versions of all is Christina Ricci's version, and she also is in this show. So to be able to see Jenna really hold her own as Wednesday when you literally have the original Wednesday opposite her is very impressive. And I think she really brings her own unique perspective to the role of Wednesday. In the past, when we're watching the Addams Family, it's really been sort of like Morticia and Gomez's show, and then the kids sort of add that punchline. And this is all about Wednesday, right? We really get to explore her deeper as a character. And what's so refreshing is Wednesday knows who she is. There are definitely journeys and arcs that she goes on, but she knows exactly who she is, and she doesn't want anyone to deter her from that road. And that's why, going to Nevermore Academy is a bit daunting, because now she's going to be thrust into this school where her parents went there. They really owned that school, and now she's under their shadow, and she doesn't want to be under anybody's shadow. She wants to pave her own way. Wednesday is very deadpan, right? She's very serious, she's very macabre, she's all about the truth, and I think that's part of what makes her such a great detective in this first season. She's smarter than everyone else. She's able to pick up on things and be ahead of everyone. But at the same time, there are some surprising moments to her as well. She's a savant, so she ends up surprising you with her dance moves, or she always has a very unexpected quip back. And I think what's great about this journey that Wednesday goes on is, from at the very beginning of this series, she's very black and white. And it's not like she's gonna go bubblegum pink, but she's gonna get a little gray. Obviously, like I mentioned, this whole show is focused around Wednesday, and I'm curious about how fans will feel about that, because I do think that they kind of position the show where it felt yes, it's about Wednesday, but the Addams family is a central part, and I would say that they are definitely more of guest stars in this world, and I don't know if I was that impressed, honestly, with the performances there. I think especially when you have Wednesday being such a grounded and established character in this world, then you have the rest of her family coming in, and they kind of feel a little bit more caricature-like than I was hoping. And then in addition to that, you're also introduced to a whole slew of new characters in Nevermore Academy. You have Principal Weems, who had a connection to Wednesday's mother. You have her new roommate Enid, who is a werewolf who's struggling to wolf out, and she's very like pink and bubbly and literally the opposite of what Wednesday is. And honestly, I was getting kind of like Alphaba Glinda vibes from them as roommates. You have this character Bianca, who's sort of like the queen bee at school, and I just think that they tried to give her more of a background and it just didn't really go anywhere, you know, and I thought that was a little bit disappointing, and it just sort of made me feel overall that there were a little bit too many characters in this show to focus on, that, you know, you can't really give them all their time when you're really focused on Wednesday and all these mysteries she's trying to uncover and solve. And it's interesting that, you know, she's an outcast in a school of outcasts, right? Like, this is a place where there's sirens and vampires and werewolves, and yet she still seems to not quite fit the mold. Some of it I thought was interesting, and some of it I thought just played into some old tropes of like what high school is supposed to be like, when this is a school of outcasts. You can literally do anything, so why are we following those same types of tropes, you know what I mean? This is who's popular, this is who's not. I think what's so great about the Addams Family is that they're a Latino family, and then to have like a lot of like the main characters around them still just like be mostly white people was a little bit boring, I thought, and I would have liked to see just like more unique casting choices, especially in this world where, you know, you're following all of these different types of people, some that fit in, some that don't, and you're also talking about a lot of very interesting themes related to oppression and minorities and outcasts and history repeating itself. Like, I just think that already gives you this great jumping off point to have more inclusive casting. There are also a lot of really fun Addams Family Easter eggs. I mean, right off the bat, like I mentioned, you have Christina Ricci playing a role in the series, so it's already like, oh, the OG Wednesday. And there's some other fun Easter eggs, a little snapping, if you will, that really just pay homage to the Addams Family stories of the past. When it comes down to it, Wednesday is jauntily macabre, it's twisted, it's a lot of fun. The mystery really will keep you hooked. Jenna Ortega as Wednesday is really what grounds this project. She is honestly the perfect choice to play this role. While I wish that some of the choices around her were a little bit stronger, she really is the one leading this. And I think if you had picked anybody else, this project might not have worked. She's kooky and spooky and all of the things that you want in a Wednesday Addams. And she's the one that keeps you intrigued and surprised at every turn. I think people will have a lot of fun with this show and figuring out the mystery alongside Wednesday. And you somehow manage to get that little black heart just to beat just a little bit. Not too much, but just a little.
Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and if you want to talk more TV and movies with me outside of the comments section, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/kmaldo. If you like this one, you can check out more of my videos right over here. See ya!